Well, we're all awake now after that introduction. This is our latest version of the thermal recording units. It uses a new camera that we're testing. It's smaller and it's easier to camouflage and less detectable. We are tenacious. The name of this video is Thermal Tenacity, and we are extremely persistent in doing something. We're stubborn, we're relentless in putting these thermal cameras in the woods, trying to get thermal video of a Sasquatch. Here's thermal video of Nathan, Chris, and me servicing a thermal camera. And it's interesting, my fingertips and my nose are both cold, meaning I need better circulation in those areas, while Nathan's and Chris's beards keep their faces nice and warm, you can see. But it's interesting, this looks like it's an album cover, like we're a band. Okay, that was ridiculous. Let's get to work. Cougars. This is a pair of cougars, obviously. Gorgeous animals walking through the field of view. And it's interesting, usually cougars are solitary animals, and it's rare to have them hanging out in pairs like this. It's possible it could be a mating couple. They'll hunt together while they're in a short mating phase, or it could be siblings that are still hunting together, or a mother and a cub, yearling cub. The first video was from late November 2025, and the second video is from early February 2026. So these two have been together for quite a while. I'm going to have to say they are probably siblings that just haven't separated yet. Here we have a bull elk, and he's walking down the same road that the cougars just walked down 48 minutes earlier. And he's struggling to walk. He has a bad hind right hoof, and he doesn't look like he's in the best shape. If he runs into those two cougars, he's gonna have a bad night. Okay, here I wanted to show you the combination for size reference. That was Chris and Nathan, and here's the cougar. And now we're gonna put the elk in there, and now we're gonna combine all three images for a size comparison. And I like that image because it makes Chris look like he's about ready to tackle the cougar. But you can see the size of that cat that he could, or two of them, could definitely take down the elk and definitely take down Chris or Nathan. That's why we always carry handguns, for protection. Alright, this is a scene of color so that we can take a break from the black and white of thermal. Alright, back at it. Here's a bobcat cruising down our favorite logging road that we've been covering so far. And oh, look at that. It looks like a mama and a kitten. Oh, there's another one. There are two. We have two young bobcats following mom. She's showing them the ropes, teaching them how to survive. Now you can see there's debris on the logging road, and it's because we had a big windstorm that blew a lot of debris from the trees and covered the forest floor. This camera is covering this logging road, and then beyond the logging road is a creek, and we're trying to cover both areas with one camera to see anything that's taking the road or traveling alongside of the creek on either side. So obviously we've been having more and more bobcats. They're always fun to look at. They're beautiful animals. It's difficult in thermal to identify specific cats, so I don't know if there's a large collection of bobcats here or if we're seeing the same one over and over. There on the other side of the creek you can see a bobcat in the distance that triggered the thermal camera to start recording. And that's always cool when we get these distant shots that show the long range that we can cover. Okay, another break from the black and white. Let's throw some color in here briefly. And now we're heading back in. Coyotes. We have a large collection of coyotes that travel on this road together with the predators we've already seen. And you can watch this coyote and tell that he is smelling us. 3 of us being down on that road, walking around, stomping on the vegetation. We left our scent all over the place, and coyotes have a snout, and they're canines, and they can smell really well. And he's obviously picking up our scent and trying to figure out what's going on. Here we have a pair of coyotes. Coyotes are commonly found in pairs, and they seem to no longer be concerned with the scent. This is 3 days later. This guy stopped, looked around, but now they just cruise right on through. And here's what all the predators are looking for most often. One of the favorites on their menu, black-tailed deer. This looks like a mama doe and 2 twin offspring. They're 9 to 10 months old, not quite yearlings yet. Now we're staying on this road with the same camera, and now we have raccoons. This is interesting. Pay attention to that raccoon's tail. See how it sticks out straight behind it as it's foraging for grubs or whatever it can find to eat. And he looks pretty healthy. You can see his ears and his eyes are glowing white, that they're warmer. I don't know if this is all the same raccoon, but I only always have one in the field of view when they show up. And this is interesting. On his back, he's got a hot spot, almost like he's got a sore or he was in a fight or something. And now look at him. Look at that tail. Look at the back right leg, there's a hot spot. Top of his back, there's a hot spot. He's not looking too good. He's been in some fights. He's been tangling with something. And his tail looks really bad. You can see it's inflamed and hot because it's white and it's hanging down. It's obviously broken. Here's the same raccoon 10 days later, and his tail is still hanging down, still inflamed and hot. His back still has a hot spot. And he's surviving, though. He's a tough little guy. Got to give him credit. He had a rodent for a friend there that he was checking on. And here's the same guy 2 weeks later, and his tail isn't quite as hot. Doesn't look that great, but he's surviving. And intermission, get some color in here because, well, we definitely needed those flowers because this is a skunk. I accidentally drove over a previously struck skunk on the highway this past summer, and boy, was it a stinky ride home. This guy's interesting. Look in the red circle. Skunks are known to eat rodents, field mice, and he just kind of ignores this guy. Maybe he didn't notice it was there, or he wasn't in the mood for field mice that night. And here's a really good thermal video of a skunk. He's showing up quite well. Perfect therming conditions that makes everything stand out well. So here, let's throw in some more flowers to help overcome the even thinking about dealing with a skunk. So this video is just amazing. It's hard to see, that's why I've got a still frame, but in the red circle now is an owl, believe it or not, and in this red circle now is a rodent, probably a field mouse. And I'm going to play it slow motion, but what we think happened is the owl tried to catch this mouse, but it misjudged and it basically crash landed. It laid there stunned and then got up and flew away again. I'm going to play it again. You can see him crash landing there. The rodent running around the owl saying, "I'm out of here." And the owl coming to its senses eventually. It's possible that it's a young owl that hasn't quite learned how to fly properly to catch the rodents. Oh, it's time for something interesting. All right, look at this cougar. It has 3 feet on the ground pretty much at all times, and it alternates front, back, left, right. One leg is moving forward with each step. Same with the bobcat here. Front, back, right, left, 3 feet always in contact with the ground. And here's the bull elk from earlier with the limp. Even though he has a sore hoof and he's limping, it's same thing. 3 feet pretty much always in contact with the ground. Each step alternating front, back, right, left. Now here's a raccoon, and it walks both feet right, both feet on the left, both feet on the right, both feet on the left. It alternates from side to side with both of its feet, paws, legs, whatever you want to call them. And he walks differently than the other quadrupeds. Okay, that was something interesting. Now we're going to change cameras. We're going to change to a different true and a different camera location. There's Chris. He's walking around in the field of view, making sure it's cleared as much as possible. He's bending over some fern fronds so that they won't set off the motion detection in the wind. And then there's me. I'm walking out there to set off the cameras. We know it's working. And we're both spreading our scent all over the place. And so then 45 minutes after we leave, here comes a spike buck. And you can see his hot breath on the fallen log. And he smells us. He's like, okay, these guys were just here. These humans, they smell funny. I don't know. I think I'm just gonna, I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna go the other way. But here we are a couple of days later, and he doesn't have any more trouble with our scent. And he even sprints through the field of view. There's a slow-mo. It was a bad therming day. Everything was grayed out. It's raining, same temperature. This is fun. We had a big windstorm, and the tree that the arrow was pointing at got blown over. There it goes. Here's a replay. We'll play it again. There it goes over. It's fascinating to see a tree falling in the woods. It was a serious windstorm. A lot of trees went down. This is cool. There's no heat signature to see. There's no animal. I just want you to see the color differential. The tree trunks are dark and cold. The vegetation is lighter colored and warmer. And now here it's reversed. The tree trunks are warmer and the vegetation is colder. These are changes that the field of view often display as the air temperature is different, or weather patterns move through, or if it's raining or sunny, or time of day. Here's another thermal camera. We changed the location, and that's Nathan checking his camo job, and me in the background saying, yes, it's good. It's good enough. You don't have to do any more work on it. Let's get out of here. It's raining. We have hamburgers waiting for us. And I was like, come on, Nathan. Yeah, it's good enough. Nathan's like, well, I don't know. Let me see what else I can find to do to prolong Kirk's misery. I'm always giving Nathan a hard time about how well he has to camouflage everything. All right, there's a cougar in the distance, and the grayed out conditions. It's obviously raining, and everything's the same temperature. Here's a coyote in the same field of view, but now it's not raining, and we have differential in temperatures which make the scene stand out. The water is warm, or warmer than the surrounding air and the surrounding temperature of the vegetation, and that's why it's so bright. And this coyote is fascinating because, well, coyotes are canines, and they're like dogs in that they like to carry things around in their mouth sometimes, and I don't know what this is. It's not hot like it's an animal that it just captured and killed, and it's not flopping around like it's an animal that it killed a while ago. It almost looks like a chunk of wood that he's carrying around. I guess coyotes are known for carrying chunks of plastic or whatever. It's basically their toy, the same way as domestic dogs like to carry around their favorite toy. Apparently coyotes like to do the same thing, because here it is in 2 different videos, an hour and a half apart, and he's still walking around carrying that thing in his mouth. And here's the scene, same field of view, and it looks differently because of the different ambient air temperature, different conditions. Same field of view we've been covering with the coyotes, and Bobcat walks through, and now we have a big bull elk. This bull elk is healthy. He has no limp like the bull elk we saw earlier. All right, we're going to change the thermal recording unit again, the true, and here comes a deer that's pronking or stotting when they bounce on all fours. And this is kind of creepy what happens here. The video shows the deer coming up right in front of the camera, and then the video cuts off. That's the end of the video, the end of the 30 seconds of recording time. And that deer looks not friendly. I wouldn't want to run into that in the middle of the woods, in the middle of the night. Okay, flowers, blue sky, yes. We'll take that for a little bit. Okay, here we are back into the thermal, and this is the elk that hung around. He ends up hanging out in front of the camera for an hour and 5 minutes, hour and 10 minutes, something like that. I have it fast forwarded 25 times normal speed, and he just kept finding something he liked munching on. Eventually he left the field of view. Here's a thermal video of a cougar. Nice shot here. It's captured on the FLIR View thermal camera that we were using. We've retired that camera, so this will probably be the last one you see from it. Alright, changing thermal cameras again, and we're going to go airborne. This is thanks to our friend Scott Burke, who lives over in Montana. He got this thermal video using his thermal drone. 640 by 512 resolution, I believe. And there's a carcass that this coyote was chewing on over there by the fence line. And now Scott follows the coyote, and the coyote is carrying something in its mouth, kind of similar to the coyote we just recently saw. And there he stops and he's burying whatever was in his mouth. We're back on the coyote, and then Scott followed it some more. It kind of has a limp. It seems like there's some kind of injury to one of its front feet or legs. But Scott's just monitoring from the air for a while. And it's fascinating to be able to use thermal from the air and follow animals. And here he's followed the coyote over to a neighbor's property that has horses. And you can see the horses in the pasture in the distance. This drone has about 40-minute flight time, so you get 40 minutes. There's obvious advantages to be able to cover a bunch of cover an area at night with the thermal camera to see what animals are around, especially if you think you're having Sasquatch activity. But then our thermal cameras that we have stationary also are running 24/7 for 2 to 3 weeks. Unlike the drones that can only fly for 40 minutes on a battery. So they both have advantages and disadvantages. And so that's why we are using them both. So Scott had a deer bedded down there previously, and now he's following 3 deer that are running through this marshy meadow area. We've done one live stream on our YouTube channel using Scott's thermal drone, and we're going to be doing that more often as the weather gets better and Scott's able to make it over to Washington from Montana more often. And so keep an eye out for those thermal drone live streams that we're going to be conducting. So he's moved on from the 3 deer he had, and now here's a solo deer that's in this section of the woods. Just imagine if that was a Sasquatch, you'd get a lot of information. It's fascinating seeing wildlife from above, from the air, and eventually we're going to get that Sasquatch on thermal video. We'll keep working at it. Thanks everybody for watching.